Hey, I'm Dylan from Stupid Raisins, and this is how to use Shape Pop. You can find Shape Pop in the title browser, in the effects browser, and in the transition browser. Let's take a look at a shape and how we can customize it. I'll add the equilateral triangle to my timeline, and you can see we have on-screen controls for moving the triangle around, resizing it, and rotating it. You can customize your shapes even more in the inspector. If you don't see it, click on this button with the 3 sliders to open the inspector, and then click on the square with the T in it to open up the title inspector. You can customize the in and out animations. Position, rotation, and scale are connected to the on-screen controls I showed you earlier. You can control the opacity of the shape and the outline with this opacity slider, and it has some built-in text with it as well. Click this to enable the text, and then to change the text, just select it, and it will open up the text inspector. If you want to change the opacity of just the shape and not the outline, you'll use this slider. And you can also change the roundness of it. You can change the shape's color right here by clicking on this and selecting a new color. You can also have a gradient for your shape. Change this to gradient, then click on this triangle next to gradient to change the colors. Select the first color and enter in your new gradient color. Select the second color and enter in that new color. You can tweak the start and end positions to get a more gradual gradient. You can add feather to your shape and give it a soft edge. You can also add an outline to your shape. Use this opacity slider to turn on the outline. Next, you can change the color of your outline. And you can change the width of the outline. You can set the position of your outline outside the shape, centered on the edges of the shape, or on the inside of the shape. And you can offset the outline too using this slider. You can also add fade to your outline with these controls right here. Just like the shape, you can have a solid color outline or a gradient outline. You can also use a drop shadow to help your shape pop off of the background. Turn up the opacity of the drop shadow, add a little bit of blur, and then add some distance to it as well. Shape Pop comes with 3 templates to make custom shapes: triangle freeform, rectangle freeform, and custom. Let's take a look at rectangle freeform. Add that to your timeline, and you'll notice that it looks like our other shapes, except it has some extra on-screen controls at these corners. This allows me to make a custom 4-sided shape. If you look in the published parameters under the title inspector, you'll see those corner parameters published, which allows you to fine-tune the values or keyframe them. Next, let's make a complex custom shape. Add the custom template to your timeline. Go to Masks and Keying under Filters and add Draw Mask to your title. Start drawing your custom shape by clicking and adding points. You can click and drag to add curves. To finish your shape, click on the first control point you added. You'll see I have the same options in here. I can change my opacity, I can change the color, and I can also turn text on and off. If I need to make changes to the shape, I'll go to the video inspector and I'll show the draw mask. In here I can change the shape type from Bezier to linear. That way all the lines are straight. Or I can even go to B-spline, which creates rounded shapes out of the control points I make. Bezier is a combination of round and straight lines. I can change the opacity, but if I'm going to add an outline, use this opacity here, because when you use this one, it turns off the shape and the outline together. I can also add feather to the shape as well, and I can change the position, the rotation, and size right here. I also have access to the control points, and I can fine-tune those right here. Let's add an outline and a drop shadow to this custom shape. Go back to Shape Pop in the effects and drag and drop outline and drop shadow onto my title. You'll see that it's added an outline, and I can control that outline and drop shadow just like I showed before. Right now this custom shape doesn't animate, so let's add some animations to it. Click and drag and drop animations onto your title. And now you'll see that that animates automatically. If we look in the published parameters, I have the same options for animating as I did before. Add the star shape to your timeline, and then drag and drop Extrude onto your star shape title. And you'll see it adds this kind of 3D effect. I'm going to use the on-screen control to move the star over here to the side so that I can access this extrude on-screen control. Now I can use this control to change the look of this 3D effect. Once I have it how I like, then I can move my star back into place. If we look at the published parameters, we have a bunch of different options here. Angle and distance are tied to that on-screen control. Clipping allows me to move the front and the back of the effect. I can change the back size. I can also change the brightness of different parts of this effect. I can also change the extrude style here with the shading and gradient options. And then I can change how much of that is shown with the mix. All right, let's take a look at shape pop transitions. Click this button on the right-hand side to open up the browser, and then scroll down till you see shape pop over here on the left, and then you'll see all the shape pop templates in there. Shape pop is organized into circles, diamonds, squares and rectangles, and triangles. You can quickly preview a template by just scrolling over the thumbnail. Let's take a look at this one, Circles Center. I'm going to drag and drop it onto my clips. Here's what that looks like. Very cool. I can change the duration of my transitions by clicking and dragging on the end or beginning to make it shorter or longer. Or I can select it and press Ctrl D, and it opens up the transition duration. I'll enter 100 for 1 second and 0 frames and press enter. Let's take a look at how we can customize this. Select the transition and go to the inspector. It should be here on the right hand side. If you don't see it, just click this button up here with the 3 sliders to open it. We can change a couple things here. We can change the style from in to out. So we have clip A here and clip B here. In means clip B is going to be revealed with some circles, like so. Out means that clip A is going to be taken out with circles that get smaller and smaller, revealing clip B. I can change the pattern of these circles by enabling this and then by clicking on these little circle buttons to generate a new pattern. I've got style out, so I'll focus on style out pattern. I'll click it a couple times and you'll notice it changing on the screen. Let's take a look at that. I can also change the spread. The higher the spread number, the softer the animation. So here it is with a spread of 90. And then let's take a look at it with a spread of 15. The lower the spread, then each little circle happens one at a time. If I turn the spread up, then all of the elements animate at the same time instead of one at a time. I can also soften up the edges with feather, making it a little bit blurry looking. Very cool. Let's take a look at circles cover left and right. Here's what that looks like. I can change the direction. I can also change the color by clicking on this color picker, selecting a new color, or right click on the color picker and quickly assign a new color. I can do a gradient style or a color range. Both gradient and color range are controlled by this right here. So click on the arrow and then click on this tag, the left tag, and then click on the color picker and set a new color. We'll click on the second tag and then pick another color. Ooh, watermelon. Color range will take a color between these two values and randomly assign it to each circle. A gradient creates more of a gradient from purple to green. Here's what that transition looks like. Check out Diamond's Corner. It has these diamonds that go from this corner to this corner, revealing the next clip. I can change the direction. This means the diamonds will move up and to the left, like so. I can also change the angle of the diamonds with this slider. I can change the roundness. I can also just randomize the angles. That's what this looks like. All right, let's take a look at one more. This is called Edge Spiral from the Squares and Rectangles. We can change the number of arms that this spiral has. We can also change the direction. If I want it to rotate to the left, I'll move it to the left, and the further I move it, the faster it will spin. Or I can go to the right, and it will move to the right and spin quickly. We'll add some random angle to our squares, and this is what the transition looks like. Sweet! That's how to use ShapePop. If you have any questions, email me at raisinhater@stupidraisins.com. Happy editing!